of health. What we do here is to talk about COVID-19, the situation world over, and of course come back to Nigeria and still come back home to Kaduna State. What we're doing about it. Now, we all know it, established facts that coronavirus is real, and of course the governments of the world are really battling to see that this disease is brought to an end, or to terminate it, so to say. And so vaccines are being produced all over the world. We see that vaccines are moving all over. In Nigeria, we're in February now. We expected that vaccines for Nigeria will be coming in this month, and of course, it is all in a bid to get rid of the COVID-19. Let's talk about some of the observations that are coming all over the world now. We know there's a new variant now, and the variants are really, again, more deadlier than when it first came out. And so deaths have been recorded. For United States of America, January was the month where it was on the rise, totally on the rise, and so recorded deaths, and of course hospitalizations as we see it. And it's becoming a situation where the hospitals are getting overwhelmed with victims of the coronavirus. And then we talk about Great Britain, what is happening there too, that there are variants now, variants that have been seen that are not, that are worrisome. And so deaths have been recorded. Well, the vaccines, are they efficacious enough to take care of the variants that we're seeing now? And then we come back home to Nigeria. In Lagos State, it's been observed that there are some variants that we're seeing now. And of course, that's on the high too. So much so that Lagos just could be thinking of going on a lockdown, and because there are cases being reported. And again, about Lagos too, we hear that oxygens are really scarce, and people are buying, from the black market. And it's getting so expensive that, just getting close to it, for treatment, it's getting really worse. And then we come back to Kaduna State too, where Kaduna State Ministry of Health is taking care of this program, by sponsorship, and giving us an update of what is happening in the state. Cases are on the rise here, but from the last week reports that we're getting, Kaduna went down again on the low. But again, we've heard that doctors have said that this could just be a case of underreporting that we're seeing in Kaduna State. Kaduna State may be on the rise, so we are, been threatened here in the state. And what are the things to do, to keep us safe? And it's just observing the protocols. The federal government has, made it mandatory now for people to go, to wear the face mask. And of course, also punishes you by penalties that have been put on ground. But again, observing the protocols. I am here with my colleague, and quickly to just rush it in, my guest this morning, Dr. Kola Odmola, he is close to the studios now, expecting that he would come in any moment from now. But let me just do a quick one with my colleague here, Kanchat. Kanchat, observing the protocols, just you can give your take on what you see around. Are people really, observing the protocols, or just it's something that's worrisome?
I think generally, I would say there's been an improvement. It would be wrong for me to say there's been no improvement at all. I think people are beginning to take it serious. Recently, I think on Friday, I quickly breezed into Abuja and came back. And by the time I got to Abuja, I realized that, hey, it seems like it's in Kaduna, we actually take this thing even more serious. On my way back, getting to, what's the name of this village again? A village before you get to Gonyongora. I realized that a lot of young boys were selling the nose mask, and that's because by the time I asked around, people were like, Kaduna is a no joke area, you have to get it right, you have to do it right, wear your nose mask, it is very serious here. And I think people are beginning to get used to it. You realize that you see people, when people want to sneeze, they don't just leave the nose mask beneath their chin, they put it up. And if you're sneezing, if you don't put it up, people around you put theirs up. So I think people are beginning to have their guards up when it comes to COVID-19, but we need more. People, we can do better. We can do better.
Well, I see too that yes, with the nose mask, we're seeing a lot of people getting involved with it. But there are other guidelines too. There are
other guidelines.
Yes.
Now that you've mentioned the other guidelines, I think when we're talking about other guidelines, I don't think people are really keeping to it, because you see people going in and out, breezing in and out of markets without washing their hands. They get back home, they don't even remember to wash their hands. It seems like the nose mask is priority, and that is all of
Yeah,
it.
and keeping the distance again.
Social distance.
Social distance again. I don't think we're doing much of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a thing of concern, and we do not want to in any way. I mean, government has said that we do not want to go on a lockdown. But if people just would not, observe the protocols that are on ground, we might just maybe faced with another lockdown. It is serious. It's very serious as it is now. But again, can't you look at the schools? Tertiary institutions are opened now, but we're still having a problem with primary schools, even though data has been given for resumption. But I don't think that parents especially, who want to rush their children to school.
True. In as much as we have a lot of parents who are bothered about the fact their children's mental and educational growth, a lot of them still want their kids to be healthy. Every parent wants his or her child to be alive and healthy. Well, so it's a priority.
And, just on that too, the transportation, we still see that we're having a problem there too. People we find more than enough, in the bus public vehicles.
Yeah.
So again, the markets, very important. You talked about that, but again, can we do anything about the markets?
I think it's just a matter of discipline. We're beginning to realize that this is real, but we need to be more disciplined. We have to be deliberate in everything we do. This is what you need to do. You have to wash your hand on the running water. Very, very, very necessary. Very important. We need to do that for our own health. So if you go into the market, if the shop you're visiting doesn't have one, when you leave the market, it's very important, paramount, that you wash your hands before you come in contact with your family members. You want to keep them safe.
All right, Ketchat, thank you for sharing a moment with me. I just quickly like to announce to the audience there, our listeners, that glad to have Dr. Kola Musliu Kolawole Odunwola with us. He's a consultant, orthopedic surgeon, public health physician, and of the risk
media pillar group.
Okay, media pillar group, right? Of Kaduna State Ministry of Health. Yes, Dr. Kola, we're glad to have you here.
Thank you very much.
It was tight for you, but we're very glad to have you here.
This program is very, very important.
Yes.
I was listening to you on radio when you start chipping in some of the highlights.
Yes.
Globally, chronic down to Nigeria.
Yes, and so you heard me, Dr. Kola. Globally, the situation, the vaccines are available, but how it is to go around the world is another thing, of course, and we're still recording deaths. The coronavirus is coming out with variants too, and all of this. And then, like I said, we come back to Nigeria. Lagos State is showing it's one area epicenter. They will say very serious what is coming out there. And if we come to Kaduna State too, the situation could just be very bad. But again, with Kaduna State, let me talk about underreporting. Is that what we're getting in Kaduna State?
We don't say Kaduna State is one of those few states when the COVID-19 came that we launched an aggressive campaign and tested. And at a point in time, Kaduna State was one of those states that actually, reached the peak of testing. And now we have seen cases whereby people voluntarily still go for the testing, especially all the testing area. So we have overcome the issue of testing, and we've been able to convince the populace that they must go for testing. Not just because you wanted to do a particular program or you wanted to travel abroad, but on their own, I have seen people go to the hospitals and all those testing areas to test. The problem we do have is that some people may be infected, they are carriers, and they will still not come to the hospital. So the issue of underreporting is a global thing, but it's more pronounced in Africa and areas where we hold on to the myth, not believing the disease, not believing that the virus is real, and not taking to protocols. Like in the South Africa, let me give you an example in South Africa, where they have a variant or a mutant variant of the virus. Let me explain in a simple way what it means. The virus is the way we knew it. However, it has changed its surface to evade detection, to evade the kind of drugs you want to give to it. And then when such mutation or changes occur, they become more deadlier. They have gone back to prepare, and then they will look at where the human body is fighting them, and then they will want to further cause more damage. That's the way it looks. That's why it's killing more people. Now they realize that when they took a sample, they now realize that about 2/3 of their population is willing to take the vaccine. Then about 1/3 is still saying no, they can't take vaccine. Then there are some that are undecided. They need to decide with their family. So their target now is to convince those undecided and those who want to decide with their family members. If you can get more than half of the population to consent to vaccinate, it will definitely reduce.
But what about the efficacy of the vaccine with these mutations that we're finding?
The efficacy still remain same. However, for Moderna vaccine, the efficacy has been reduced to about 85%. It used to be 94-95%. But for Moderna, it's still as effective as more than 85 to 87%. And that is to tell you that the viruses keep changing, and then that's why we should take it serious. We have not dealt with the original variant, which we know, the neovirus. Now there is a mutant one. But this particular technology of the vaccines that were put into use, and we have, that's the messenger RNA vaccines, they've been taken care of. We already knew there could be mutations. So the RNA vaccine is one of the hallmark of vaccine innovations, and this technology has been going on for long, and now it has found its place here. So the mRNA vaccine now have a tendency to detect those mutations and carry out further attack and prevent the virus from attacking the immune system. For AstraZeneca and the other group, they are quite effective. It's only for Moderna, I think, it has reduced a little bit, but it's still very effective. If you have to get a vaccination and you still get up to 85 to close to 90% of, I think it's excellent.
Let's give it to the governor of Kaduna State, Malam El-Rufai. We're talking about the outbreak of it in Kaduna State, that the governor really, was on top of the game by, all the protocols that must be observed. And of course, we had even lockdown, and of course, interstate travels and all of that, were cut out. And he was also affected. So the importance of this, the governor knew it, and so put all of this in place. But we're talking about citizens' responsibility in all of this. Yes. At this time it started, the state government said he wanted people to come out, report, and if they are tested, there are places for them to, even get isolated, as it were, then. But are we having a situation where probably getting overwhelmed with, that's in terms of people coming in now, with the facilities government provided?
No, we are not getting overwhelmed. At least we from the ministry. It's just that because of the second wave, and that is why this part of the strategy the Kaduna State government, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, did was to intensify the campaign. It's like we all went back to sleep, but when the second wave came, Kaduna State government rose up to the occasion and the campaign came up. That is, apart from the issue of vaccine, which most African countries have not really gotten hold of, the issue of preventive measures has been further heightened, and citizens are becoming more responsible. We should commend them in that regard, but we are saying that we should do more. In fact, when I heard your colleague mentioning that it appears as if we take it more serious in Kaduna than, and that is the truth. I have visited other areas, and I'll come in with my face mask. You Kaduna people, you are so, Kaduna is like, God forbid, it's like Lagos. Lagos is the epicenter. Kaduna too could be an epicenter because of travels and the fact that it links up most of the capital and then the northwestern and northeastern states. So I commend the people of Kaduna for rising onto the occasion by following the government guidelines of use of face masks in the public places, but which is inadequate, particularly in the marketplaces. But public institutions, you don't even enter without your face mask. Then the issue of hand washing. Hand washing is very, very mandatory. Respiratory hygiene, when you want to cough or sneeze, put it in your elbow, and then maintaining social distance. Maintaining social distance has also been a challenge, which I have observed. And I like the approach the Kaduna State government is doing because the initial experience we had with the lockdown, closing of places of worship, really make people tense. psychologically and whatever. And we have seen the security implications of the lockdown. They are boomeranging. It's all over the world. There's no doubt about it. The protocol and the attempt to cut off everything really heightened the security situation. And people who want to take solace in spirituality were also banned from gathering. However, we saw that was actually brought down the incidence of COVID-19. So I'm appealing. I don't think the federal government is not dangling the sword of lockdown, but is using it as a threat. And that is why if you don't wear your face masks, you go to jail. I saw a picture during the Spanish flu. Wear a face mask or go to jail. So Kaduna State government has already engaged through us and other public media, engage the traditional rulers, imams and pastors that look, we are not preventing you from gathering, but those social distances and those protocols we observe when something came in, please intensify it. Please intensify it. And people are saying that governor wanted to lock down worship center. We don't have, it's our Saudi Arabia that is the cradle of Islam. They still maintain social distance even when they do tawaf and when they pray. So it's a responsibility on all of us to, since we don't even have access to this vaccine. You are mentioning vaccine. If you look at what is happening in the European Union now, the European Union is accusing AstraZeneca and Moderna that they are not meeting up to their expectation of production until they now step it up. That's in advanced country that have the money to procure this thing. And it's targeted. It's going to be with the elderly people, healthcare workers, and those that are the frontline workers. Those are the people that have been targeted. Before another consignment will come, and then virtually everybody will be immunized gradually.
Doctor, we're recording deaths on daily basis. But most times we probably do not know the cause of death. And again, our religions will probably give us that God giveth, God taketh. And so when people die, we rush to bury them and not knowing the cause of death. So the prevalence and the widespread of coronavirus, and because of, I talked about underreporting, people just do not know that the cause of death. Is that another thing of concern?
We should know that before the advent of coronavirus, we also have our problem, both physical and health issues, security issues that are killing people on daily basis. Trauma, road traffic accidents still kill thousands of people globally, worldwide. Nigeria is not an exception, especially with our bad roads, or I don't care attitude of our people and all those. So trauma takes a lot of people. Infectious disease, we must know that malaria is still there. Even then it was underreported, but countless of children are dying from malaria fever. People with immunosuppressive diseases that do not take treatment are dying from that. And on top of it, we have background infectious diseases. Lassa fever is there on the ground, and thank God Ebola is not with us. So, but some of these hemorrhagic fevers are still with us and are killing people. Coupled with the insecurity. I don't want us, on top of all this, then we have a pandemic of coronavirus. Banditry, attacks, kidnapping, so the psychological in tune is there. So we are not, but you raise a very vital point. We must begin to look at the culture of doing an autopsy on our dead people. And we have a lot of tasks to do in the public health department, because it will not only help us know the cause of death, it will also help us know how to manage these diseases. Like in Italy, how did we get to understand how the coronavirus damages the lung? It is through autopsy that we realize that the lung is the target because it has affinity for the antigen of the coronavirus. And the most reaction that takes place from the body comes from the lungs, with the release of some bioactive enzymes that will try to contain the disease. So in so doing, it blocks the airway with mucus and then cause bleeding and some other things. it is through autopsy we are able, those people that die from coronavirus, that we knew this. And that has also helped them to develop a vaccine. So, but in this particular part of the country, we are averse to autopsy. And until we begin to look at autopsy as is a thing that will be beneficial to resolve some murder cases, and it will make us understand diseases better, and then we will know the cause of death of most people. And like you said, people underreporting statistics, we don't keep statistics, not until recently when coronavirus came that we have daily updates. But those in the interlands, how many of them come? You understand? And I want people to notice that we are losing a lot of our elderly people. And most of them are coronavirus. No doubt about it. Literally, the elites among them, we knew that. Look at when we lost a lot of professors. So look at some other elderly people in the villages. You know, in Kwara State, we just lost another. I'm not saying he died of coronavirus, but I have a colleague, Dr. Munir, who is based in Kaduna, who is also a staff of Kaduna State Ministry of Health before his demise. He was at home, and he contacted coronavirus. We can say it here. He recovered, but he died of some other complications. So when you see people close to you, and they come out to say, yes, they have this and they survived, it means we have a lot of issues on our hand. And we should follow the basic protocol of prevention. That has helped us before the vaccine. So I believe before we start getting the vaccine, we can still utilize that, intensify those efforts, and take responsibility and be our brother's keeper.
The program is Perspectives this morning. It's coming to you on Invicta 98.9, and is a program sponsored by the Kaduna State Ministry of Health. We talk about coronavirus and, of course, what the state is doing to keep us all safe. And, of course, our responsibility, too, as citizens, to keep ourselves safe. And we have with us this morning Dr. Musliu Kolawole Odunwola, consultant, orthopedic surgeon, a public health physician, and member of the Risk Communication Pillar, Kaduna State Ministry of Health. We'll come back after this break.
You're listening to Invicta 98.9. We play R&B, jazz, reggae, hip-hop, inspirational talk, and gospel radio. We rule the air.
Great. Invicta FM.
Keep it locked. Invicta. Your station.
Thank you. Cause it's true, I'm not good at all understand.
98.9.
Welcome back. It's the program Perspectives this morning, and with me is Dr. Musliu Kolawole Odunwola. And of course, we're talking about coronavirus, where we are with it in Nigeria. Come back to Kaduna State with it, and how much we're doing. Dr. Kola, I'd just like to put this across to you, and this is going out to the audience there too. It just may be a thing of concern for you that why dedicate so much time to talk about coronavirus. We do this on Invicta on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and our houses, section would do theirs on Wednesdays. So much time given to talking about coronavirus, and the audience may just be out there wondering that there are other issues, big things to talk about, like banditry, like kidnapping, like insecurity, armed robbery, and all the killings going on around us. And so why so much dedication that we give to COVID-19?
COVID-19 is a global issue, and it's an infectious disease that can wipe out population within a shortest period of time. Apart from the fact that it will overwhelm the health facilities that we have in the country. You can imagine all these issues that you have mentioned, security issues, still boils down to trauma and health issues. Some of the victims that survive will be brought to the hospital. So you can now imagine that when such victims now come, the bed space is not available. Coronavirus has taken over most of the bed space. I want to let you know that in the US and Europe, they do not perform elective cases, at least in the surgical field, orthopedic field I knew. That is people who want to have their knee replaced, who want to have their shoulder. So elective means non-emergency cases. They have stopped it. They are only attending to serious emergencies because they have put all their resources in combating COVID-19. They don't want to expose the health workers, and they want to contain them. In Portugal, Germany is sending its military because they could not contain the ICU situation. So it's never too much at all. We are not giving its importance. We are giving the same importance as we know there are security challenges on top of all these things, but we cannot afford to sit and allow another issue that can be prevented, at least by taking responsibility by ourselves to wipe us out again. And it will come to a time whereby the hospitals will become overwhelmed. But thank God, but Lagos is already experiencing that. People, you can imagine, people queuing to buy oxygen cylinders, not fuel. It has happened in Brazil. So we are praying that such calamity should not befall us. Our health sector is near collapse. We are not getting the appropriate budgetary allocation for it. People are leaving, exodus. Immediately after this the first wave, a lot of healthcare practitioners left the country because of poor pay, risk, and then those European countries, Eastern, they knew they would need healthcare professionals. So, and they are just siphoning people from different parts of the world. So it's as important as the other issues. But health, they say, is wealth. A healthy nation is a wealthy nation. You can imagine coronavirus wiping out a whole set of banditry has also wiped out some of our best brains, some of our best people around, and so it all comes together. It's never too much. And there is no way we will be discussing coronavirus that we will not be discussing other issues on. And
to think of the United States of America, that over 200,000 people have died.
Have died. Over on the count, it's about 2.5 million globally, and the death is still increasing. I mean, it calls for concern, and that is the reason why this particular program we are doing, we are in a social media era. So you can imagine if somebody, your station and other stations that have been carved out to give enlightenment to people are not there. People will just be spreading fake news, fake claims, even from scientists. And internet, goes faster.
And then on fake news.
So you see, it's really. So you people are doing a great job.
I quickly must rush you in into this one in. Yes, because again, we're just left to, you talked about the social media. It is on the social media that we get cure for coronavirus by those that have said they are doctors and these are the things to take, steam up yourself, take this, chloroquine or the other, take this and take that, and you'll be free of coronavirus. Also on the social media. So the confusion that the public is, left with.
What the people are mistaken, the way the information is being delivered is what is faulty. And most of this information is being delivered by non-medical personnel or those who have some basic medical knowledge but they do not know how to interpret. Or those days, let me take you back to memory lane. Those days when we had pneumonia, pneumococcal pneumonia or streptococcal pneumonia that is killing people. Pneumonia has killed it's a bacterial infection. Before the advent of penicillin, it has killed a lot of people. And I was privileged to meet one of those doctors. He was 80 years old then when I graduated in 1993, and he administered the whole on us. You now look at this young, you say, people, you have advanced. That in his own time, if you have to treat malaria, we'll keep people in a pressurized room where there is moisture and heat. And then we'll pray that he survives. There is no antibiotics. Until somebody discovered penicillins, and it became like a magic drug, and it was able to eradicate the bacteria. So what we are saying is that since it's a flu-related catarrhal problem, so when you do those steam inhalation, we still do steam inhalation in medicine for people who have rhinitis, who has so we still do steam inhalation with some medications put into it. It tends to relieve the clogs, the mucus plugs. It makes you expel it. After all, it's some of those mucus plugs that has blocked the lungs that kills people. You understand? So the inhalation is still, steam inhalation is good, and then taking, but these are home measures to reduce the symptoms and prevent, to certain extent, some degree of fatality, get some relief before you actually get care. If you need oxygen, you need oxygen. You don't, stimulation will not work. If you need to be given medications, you need to be given medications. So, and you also brought in the issue of chloroquine. I don't know. You see, even among the healthcare professional, there is a lot of, can I say, a lot of tussle going on. When chloroquine came, President Trump was quick to say, yes, chloroquine, why not? People say, no, he's thinking along the business line, he doesn't want to spend money. But studies have shown that, yes, chloroquine does have some effect on the viral replication. But at what dose? You may need a very high dose, which could be toxic to the heart. So you won't, because it has some effect to reduce the viral load, and go and load somebody who has a heart condition or even doesn't have a heart condition. Chloroquine or quinine at very high doses can stop the heart. So we must begin to, and we have not conducted studies to actually confirm, but people still use hydroxychloroquine. Another promising drug that has come up and is generating a lot of hype among the healthcare circle is ivermectin, the common drug that we use in treating river blindness. That has also been found to reduce the viral replication, reduce complications and fatalities. But initially, it was an observational studies. And observational studies is not accepted now. We want evidence-based, randomized control studies. So people are beginning to do randomized control studies, and Lagos, LUT, is one of the pioneers in the country. Ivermectin is cheap and is readily available, and we've been using it for river blindness for years. But by coincidence, we found out that it can also be effective. So we should promote our own local way. Indians have started producing vaccine in their own way. So we must begin, and it might interest you to know that Nigeria those days, we produce yellow fever vaccine, rabies vaccine. What happened to those technology? What happens to those centers? We allow them to decay, no continuity, no. So, but the good thing about fake news among people, the Nigerian Medical Association and other allied associations relating to health, including nurses and pharmacists, we've been able to manage the issue of fake news. We may agree, we may disagree. Like I'm talking to you about chloroquine, there is, as I'm mentioning this chloroquine now, ivermectin, so my colleagues are saying, Odola must be crazy. What's he talking about? If it's not this, it has to be this. But we shouldn't shy away. We use so many arsenals, but it's not officially proven by the CDC in Nigeria or abroad that we can use ivermectin. No, it has not. Chloroquine is still not approved. So, but those who try it are doing it at their own risk. I will not. So, INMA has come up with a position regarding that we are following the WHO protocol in everything. That makes us to have a standard. So, if you are trying anything, you're only trying it in the background and not
at your own risk too.
At your own risk, and you're not creating. So, all those home remedies are very, very good, but they are not curative. Just like for so many other. Those supplements are good. You want your immunity to be strong. That's why you need to take vitamin C, you need to take cucumber, you need to take juice and all those stuff to boost your immunity. So that after all, we did say that coronavirus, if your immunity is very strong, more than 98% of people will fight it off, and they never even knew they had the disease. So with a stronger immunity, you'll be able to boost it. So anything that will improve your immunity, please take it, use it, but don't have the impression that it's the one that will cure you, but it only help your body to fight it. Most of the treatment we are giving to coronavirus patients are supportive. We don't want them to become dehydrated, we don't want them to have kidney problem, we don't want them to develop respiratory failure, and that is why intubation and all other things are coming up. So home remedies, good, but they are not curative, but they are helpful.
Doctor, quickly, before I get to the audience now, let's talk about attitude. Our attitude to, the coronavirus. It looks like we've not developed the kind of, and this, some people will say, goes to how we look at other, issues of Nigeria. That's attitude, and what it plays.
I agree with you that attitude plays a significant role in the way we do things in this country, and it has shown here. Our attitude towards events is just lackadaisical. People don't care. And if it cares, if it doesn't affect me or my family, it's nobody's business. We are lucky this is affecting everybody. You can't travel, even if you are. I was with one of a very rich colleague of mine, a friend of mine. He said, even doctor, even with your money now, I have money, I can't get the vaccine and I can't travel out. So that's so our attitudes must change. First, we must have this nationalistic attitude that this is our country. We don't want to get ruined. We don't want to be destroyed. But that attitude, that what we give to the country, we don't have, the patriotism is not there. And it's because of our negative attitude towards ourselves, you might be surprised. Somebody is saying, let this corona, I don't like this, it's better, all these bad things should be happening during this particular, attitude, plays significant role. Emotionally, it creates hatred, it creates so many things. And in addition, when we have a bad attitude, you will not take responsibility. I'm happy when I was coming in, I also traveled to Abuja and I was coming, and a man was virtually challenging everybody. Where is your face mask? Where is your face mask? And I was happy, so I joined him. So he's taking responsibility. It's a positive attitude. So when we get talking and I realize that he has seen it. He's a retired pilot in the Nigerian Air Force. He has transported, he's involved in transporting some of these humanitarian aid and all those things. So he has seen it all. So let's have a positive attitude towards event. Don't let us be just, push things over the hand, and then let's have a spirit of continuity that this thing belongs to all of us. It shouldn't be destroyed. It shouldn't be, there should not be discrimination whatsoever. Okay. So attitude is really, really important. We must have a positive attitude, patriotism, and that is how it should be.
Okay. All right, let's come over to you now. I'll get to hear what is happening around you. Are you serious about handling of the coronavirus? What citizens' responsibility is here too. Government, on its part, is playing and doing the best that it can, but it cannot be government alone. It has to be it has to be with you and I too. And so, what are you giving in to the fight against coronavirus, where we have protocols that we've been told to observe? Numbers to call to be part of this program: 081 40,000 989, 081 40,000 989, or 070 87 800 989, 070 87 800 989. In your neighborhood, what are the things? What are you observing? What are your concerns too about the reality of COVID-19? We'll take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And good morning to the doctor.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, I think everything about corona, the doctor there and the studio has explained everything. But my worry is that just yesterday we had a news that the importation of this vaccine may delay because the government has not transmitted how much the cost of this thing to the National Assembly for approval. And it may likely delay. I think, to me, that should not be an issue. The government should make money available because this is life. I was saying. Secondly, we had news that when the president signed into law the law of the COVID-19, he himself at Katsina, he did not wear it. I don't know whether this face mask should be exempted to certain group of people, because he has to live by example and make sure that he wears this thing, so that we also are going to be very, very happy. Thirdly, sir, this vaccine came from China, but today we are hearing something about China. Does it mean that people just go and invented this thing to spread it so that people will reduce the population of the war, or what? That's my own worry, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Comrade Gabriel, we'll go you on that. Doctor, you want to?
Yes, I want to respond to that. First, let me quickly dispel the myth that it's a deliberate attempt to wipe the population of the world. If there is any nation that will be interested in wiping the population of the world, in quotes, I don't want to be looked as racist or something, it's always either the third world that you want to eliminate. Do they want to eliminate themselves also? You just gave me a figure of the United States, and they are dying in droves. And God, in His infinite mercy, have allowed us to. It's still a science. People are still wondering, why is this coronavirus not killing Africans in generally like it does in the United States. However, we can answer that question. Blacks in the United States who are obese, hypertensive, are drug addicts, and who have compromised immunity die fast from the disease than their white counterpart. So the issue of the myth that is a design to wipe out the world, we should discard it because it will compound our problem. We had the issue of 5G. It's a terrible thing. Before people even accept the thing is existing and is spread. Now, coming to the vaccine, I agree with him that the federal government should do more to ensure that the vaccines are available. Yes, we know the healthcare sector needs a lot of support, but at this critical time, coronavirus is an issue which is at hand. So they could divert some of those funds, and then our donor organizations and philanthropies can also assist to bring in these vaccines for us. So it's never too late. And you know, you also mentioned about signing the face mask. Face masks has been found to be effective in more than 99% of cases. It's very, very important that we use face masks and we do social distance. So our leaders must lead by example. They must observe that particular protocol of using face masks. But I believe the federal government is looking at ways to ensure that we get the vaccines. And I believe we'll get there.
Okay. Yeah, we're still taking more calls on 081 40,000 989. 081 40,000. Hello, good morning.
My name is Adam.
Okay, Adams, let's hear you.
Yes, sir. I want to tell the whole world and we Nigerians, Africans, that coronavirus is real.
Thank you.
Hello?
Yes, hello. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, coronavirus is real. So we need to take necessary measures in order, not the virus, get us all down. So let us all take responsibility to ensure that we are all safe.
All right. Thank you.
Wonderful.
All right, Adams, thank you on that. All right. Yes, hello, good morning. Good morning, okay. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, let's hear you.
This is Musa Madaki.
Okay, Musa, let's hear you.
I greet the doctor also there.
Thank you very much, sir.
Attitude, as the doctor has said, I don't care. It is the one killing us. All this day that is going on now, as he said, in fact, it is corona. So attitude makes us to be dying just like animals. I prayed and asked all the people, let them obey the law and follow whatever the government says, and we are going to be safe. May God help us in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. All right. Thank you on that. Still can take in squeezing one or two calls. Still with you. Hello. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning, Dr.
Good morning.
Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, sir. Thank you very much.
My question goes, I noticed that we hear that this is Mr. Sunday Bello from Narai.
All right, Sunday, let's say.
That the Kogi State governor has refused to take the issue of the vaccine and even the coronavirus serious. What is the government trying to do concerning that? You see, just recently, the president has just signed into law whoever doesn't wear face mask and other things concerning coronavirus. Now, what are they doing concerning the governor of Kogi State, who refused vehemently that is talking like corona, and he's encouraging other people to go the same way, and which is bad for the country. Thank you very much.
Sunday, thank you very much. I'd just like to, Doctor, just a little bit on what Sunday had said. Kogi State, here is the governor, the leader, number one citizen, who has refused to, acknowledge that coronavirus is real. In fact, he's inviting others to come to his state for, ways to, get rid of coronavirus. It has a state too that has doctors, medical doctors, that has a commissioner of health, and when you see all of that, so you begin to wonder.
I don't know how they tend to convince him. They should have given his medicine is evidence-based. So his claim is as if coronavirus does not even exist. It's just a way. I've listened to some of his statements, and I think we shouldn't respond to his statement. We should continue what we are doing. Even the governors say he's on his own. They dissociate himself from, because it's catastrophic for a chief security officer and executive officer of a state to make such unfounded claims. And his healthcare providers that works with him, he will put them in serious jeopardy and shame. He's putting them to shame as far as we are concerned. If he says our approach towards managing coronavirus is faulty, and even globally there is corruption with the coronavirus, with the vaccine, with the distribution, with the PPEs, even there abroad, people are using they are using. So if he tells us the modus operandi of the way we go about it, yes, it's in our attitude, like that man said. So, but to discard it and further is creating a lot of risk to people, and it's very unpresidential, or is not befitting of a governor to say that. And till tomorrow, one of the reasons why Trump lost an election was he said no, it's a flu, and it will just go within a short period of time, take some hockey, and the thing was spreading, and he was busy doing his other things until he now took it serious. And look, this is where we found ourselves. So Kogi, I want to employ some of our colleagues in the Kogi state, in as much as it's a servant leader relationship, they should advise the governor appropriately. That's one thing I want to take credit for Governor El-Rufai, not because he has suffered the disease, but God has helped him. We didn't know coronavirus will come. His deputy governor is, in fact, teacher, as far as I'm even concerned, is a public health physician, a deputy governor. The commissioner of health is also my senior, also a physician and a public health person. If you know the kind of interaction that goes on between them, he allows them to give his opinion. He might have a counter opinion, but at the end of the day, we all resolve, and then we get to. So, and this is the way you should look at it. Fauci had that problem with President Trump.
Yes.
So, and it became a problem. So I just want to employ my colleagues in the medical field in Kogi State to caution or allow some of those comments to come from the Commissioner of Health, Special Assistant on Health, that has to relate to COVID. I don't know how far this statement is true. Just as I was coming today, they say Kogi is now a high-risk group. Kogi didn't allow, he chased away CDC from testing, from checking. So if you don't test, how will you know whether there is COVID? So I'm employing the governor in the spirit of being a leader to please be cautious in the way he make his speech, because people will invariably take his speech for it, and prosperity may not forgive him.
Dr. Odunola,
yes, sir.
Let's get to hear your last line on this. Yeah.
My last line is that COVID is real, and simple measures of preventive measures, personal and environmental hygiene, and all those things we have said will help. Especially now that we don't have the vaccine at our disposal. With the vaccine coming, we can be sure we'll go back to our normal life. And then the government should, use a lot of wisdom to balance the outbreaks and find a way of continuing to cushion the effects of the lockdown, the COVID-19 pandemic on the citizens. Corruption must be eradicated. Our attitude must change, both at the governmental and at the citizen level.
Dr. Musliu, thank you for coming on the program. And that would just be the size of it on the program Perspectives this morning. Our guest has been Dr. Musliu Kolawole Odunola, a consultant orthopedic surgeon, public health physician, and a member of the Risk Communication Pillar, Kaduna State Ministry of Health. Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much.
And my colleague, Kchat, thank you for connecting us with the people. We'll come back with Perspective tomorrow. Good morning.